You're listening to the At Your Request Show with Nick Collings. This is Up FM 107.5.
On the phone line right now, the man, High Contrast. Now, I've got a quick intro for him. High Contrast is one of the golden boys of the drum and bass scene. In the early 2000s, injecting some much-needed soul and funk back into the genre, and at the same time making a whole new generation of people fall in love with that sound. 12 years since signing to Hospital Records, and 4 albums later, High Contrast continues to innovate and enthrall audiences the world over, and he's back to give New Zealand another taste. This coming New Year's at Rhythm and Alps, and also Rhythm and Vines. High Contrast, are you there?
Hello, mate. Yes, thank you for that epic intro. Very nice.
That's not a problem at all. Now, the story begins for you. You were signed to Hospital Records in the year 2000. Now, releasing the tracks Make It Tonight and Passion in the year 2001. Then, well, I think it's fair to say that it all changed in the year 2002 with what became one of the biggest anthems of the year, the track Return of Forever, holding steady residency in record crates of every single A-list DJ in the world of drum and bass. First up, what impact did the enormity of that record have on a relatively unknown producer from Wales at the time?
Yeah, definitely Return of Forever was the kind of real breakthrough track. I've been getting kind of attention from some DJs in the scene, but that was the first one where kind of across the board, everyone was playing it, and especially kind of people like Andy C and Groove Rider, who normally known for kind of playing harder tracks and not so much the kind of soulful stuff that I've been making. For them to be playing it, it was quite a game changer.
Without doubt. Now, 2002 saw the release of your debut album as well. You returned in 2004 with the follow-up, High Society, and then Tough Guys Don't Dance in 2007. These days, in 2012, you've dropped The Agony and The Ecstasy, which you have said has been your most personal album to date. What changes did you personally have to make pretty much in the last decade from that very first album, True Colours, until now to pretty much fulfill the expectation of not only the fans, the record label, but also for yourself?
Yeah, I try not to think too much about what the audience will think of what I'm doing. I really just kind of make music that connects with me at the moment I'm making it, and it kind of makes me happy or expresses what I'm trying to get across. And I think with the new album, it's more personal because I use less samples and kind of approached it more like a singer-songwriter and wrote a lot of the lyrics and was working with the vocalists and musicians involved, whereas the previous albums had kind of been very sample-based and it was just a different kind of sound. I just kind of wanted to challenge myself in that way. And I guess it's just me kind of getting older and more philosophical, and I think that's kind of reflected in the kind of slightly more mature feel of the album.
Also on it as well, you were discussing collaborations, singers and stuff as well. There's a couple of people on the album that you probably wouldn't really always associate with High Contrast, in the form of Underworld and also Tiesto on the single The First Note Is Silent. How important is it to draw inspiration from other genres for you?
It's always been essential. I don't really listen to much drum and bass. I try not to be influenced by what my kind of ears are doing. I've always kind of drawn influence from everywhere else, whether it's classical music or psychedelic rock or folk music, whatever kind of catches my ear. And so I rarely kind of collaborate with drum and bass artists, but and I'm also always looking for contrast. So it just appealed to me to kind of get the biggest, kind of trance artists in Underworld and Tiesto involved on the same track, but also the fact that they make very different kinds of trance as well. That just kind of appealed, I think, to my sense of humor and as a challenge, to make a drum and bass track with them.
with the current success from the likes of, well, you've got DJ Fresh, you've got Rudimental, and that word that I try not to use too much, EDM, pretty much hitting the pop charts. How do you feel this is going to help with the development, in particular, of drum and bass in the future? Do you see that the mainstream kind of drum and bass is a good or a bad thing for the overall kind of scene?
You know, I just judge things by a track-by-track kind of basis. You know, if I tune, you know, I like it. It doesn't matter whether it's made in, you know, $1 million studio, or whether it's made on a laptop by some 17-year-old on a train or something. You know, it's really, I just take things face value and try to judge them that way. So if drum and bass tracks are blowing up and getting chart attention, that's great. But you know, when that happens, inevitably you get some people who smell money and you know, get involved for the wrong reasons. But I think you can usually see through those people and that music, and it won't last. Yeah, we may see some of that, but you know, basically drum and bass has been going 20 years now and has weathered many storms, many ups and downs. So I've got faith that it'll kind of keep going, you know, even when the current fad has kind of died down.
Now, something completely different. Just a few short months ago, you got a bit of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be part of the team behind the opening ceremony of the London Olympic Games. Ultimately, what was your role, and how does that even come about for you?
Well, yeah, it was a pretty incredible experience, and I was basically asked by Underworld to come and help them because they were the musical directors of the show, and they'd written the kind of main theme music for it, but they didn't have music for when the athletes parade happened, you know, when all the different kind of athletes from the countries kind of go on for like 2 hours sometimes. So it was quite a big job, and I was working on it for kind of 4 months, pretty intensively. But it was a great experience kind of working for them and Danny Boyle, and you know, knowing that the music I was writing was going to be heard by 1 billion people around the world. So it's slightly kind of daunting, but you know, I basically just approached it how I would, you know, in my own tracks, and I was working on my kind of same setup. I just took it from home and took it to Abbey Road Studios in London, and was, you know, pretty much left to my own devices to just kind of come up with the most uplifting and driving music that I could.
From that to New Year's Eve, you're headlining both the hospitality stage as part of the Rhythm and Vines Festival in Gisborne, and also Rhythm and Alps at the Terrace Down Resort in Christchurch over the New Year's period. Yet this time around, you're joined by several of your label mates, such as guys like Logistics, Spy, Camo and Crook. Now, is there any rivalry brewing up as to who's going to play the best set this year?
I think there's always a little friendly rivalry between us, but we all get on very well, you know, and it'll be good to come out and play for you guys, you know, have with a whole team of us. And I think we've all kind of got our own sounds going on as well. So I think there'll be a nice variety between us all with the sets.
You've definitely slowly becoming a bit of a regular on the Rhythm and Vines circuit. What is it about Rhythm and Vines for you that makes you want to travel halfway across the world to spend one of the biggest party days of the year entertaining us little old Kiwis?
Well, I had a great time when I came out a couple of years ago and played, so I'm definitely looking forward to coming back. I mean, on the simplest level, it's great to get away from the horrible UK weather at this time of year. But it was also just a fantastic location, I thought, for Rhythm and Vines, and everyone I met was, you know, really friendly, and it was great to just hang out there for a few days and party.
And ultimately, there can't be much left on your bucket list to do. You've pretty much kind of done it all. But is there anything that you're still sort of looking to do or looking to achieve under, the name of High Contrast?
I mean, there's always kind of fresh challenges musically, but I really want to kind of try and make some inroads into the world of filmmaking. I've always had a passion for cinema since I was a kid, and I went to film school. So, I really, I'm trying to get some feature films off the ground at the moment.
Absolutely brilliant. High Contrast is playing at Rhythm and Alps in the South Island. Now, was that the first time that you've played at Rhythm and Alps?
Yes, this will be, yeah.
You're playing there on the 29th of December. Details for that one are at rhythmandalps.co.nz. And then on the 30th of December on the hospitality stage at Rhythm and Vines. Ticket details and the full lineup is available at rhythmandvines.co.nz. And finally, you can see all things High Contrast at your website, which is highlycontrasting.com. What are they likely to see?
There's quite a few posts about my whole kind of Olympic experience on there, and gig dates, and some of my kind of film reviews as well I put on there. And there's links to kind of all my social media stuff as well, so check it out.
Everything that you need there. High Contrast, thank you for taking the time out to have a chat with us here in New Zealand, and we look forward to seeing what you bring at Rhythm and Vines, and also good luck with the feature films.
Thank you very much. Yeah, good to talk to you, and can't wait to come out and play for you guys.